Hi, welcome to the channel. My name's Adam. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about, can you retire on $250,000? This is a topic and a video request that we have had probably more than anything else. So I thought I'd finally do it. And kind of what pushed me over the edge is a video I saw posted last week that was called, How Can You Retire on $300,000? It's done by This Is Our Retirement channel, which is Norm and Tina, some other Canadian YouTubers. It's a great video. If you haven't checked it out, we'll link it below. And I know a lot of our viewers watch their videos because I can see the algorithm and where our viewers come from and where they go to after and all that. So their video, which talks about, is it possible to retire on $300,000, which they came to the conclusion, yes, you can. I'm a numbers person and I like to break down the numbers. And that's one of the benefits of being a financial planner is I have the software and the tools to break it down. So today in this video, we're going to actually take it a step further and say, can you retire on $250,000? And let's look at the numbers and what it kind of breaks down to. So through the example I'm going to show both an individual or a single person retiring on $250,000 and also a couple or a married couple, common law partner, doesn't matter, but two people living on $250,000 as well. So I'm going to show both examples. Going to use real life expectancies. Like I get a lot of pushback when I use age 90 or 95 for life expectancy. So I've taken Stats Canada numbers and rolled it back a little bit. I've tried to make this as realistic as possible. We've used national averages for CPP. We started CPP at 70 because it does give you more money, and if you're going to live to life expectancy, it is a benefit. The OAS at 65 still. So hopefully this is really dialed into little pushback, and that's really the purpose of this. I want to give you a realistic number, like can you retire on that $250,000? So let's take a quick look at Mrs. YouTube. So Mrs. YouTube turned 65 on January 1st of this year. She is from Ontario. We use life expectancy on Stats Canada, and life expectancy for a 65-year-old female is 21.7 years. So we ran it up to 22 years. And we put her life expectancy to age 87. We've used an inflation rate of 2.5, which I know is a little low right now, but that's above the 20 and 35-year averages, as well as that's above the target that the government of Canada is going after. If we look at her assets, we've set the $250,000 and a breakdown of $200,000 to her RRSP, $50,000 to her TFSA. And we put an average rate of return of 5% on those. She has no debts. So you can see here, if we look at her CPP, we're going to start that at age 70, and we've listed it at 56.06%, which is the same as a national average. Now, if we bump that all the way to age 70, it's going to increase her payment to $12,584. If we look at her old age security, we started at 65 and we put the max amount, which is again the national average for that. So we've left those the same. The only other setting that we've changed here is her registered assets. If I go into here, again, I want to show you the program that we use. I think it's very important. I'm not too worried about her TFSA contribution RSP, but I've changed her conversion from RSP to a RIF to age 64. So at age 65, she's going to be able to start drawing that out. Now, as an individual, it's not a huge benefit, but there is the pension income tax credit that she will qualify for at age 65, so we want to take advantage of that. So if we jump into the planning software here, we can see that taking these assets, so $250,000, 65-year-old female is going to live till age 87, taking the 56% CPP, we're bumping it to age 70 to get a little bit more, but again, taking the national average of that as well as for OAS. As we can see, it actually works out to, if we took a level income from age 65 all the way down to age 70, which I'm not showing here, the level income would be $29,725. Now, if you followed my channel for any period of time, I like to look at a laddered income. More money early, then a little bit less, and then less after that. That's really how you're going to spend money in retirement. So I want to build the plan that way. So again, can we take a little bit more now and have a little bit less later when we don't necessarily need it? So let's look at what that looks like. You can see on the left in real dollars, which inflation adjusted dollars, $33,000. I've run that down to age 72. There's a lot of research and data out there on, life expectancy, but also around, when spending drops off, like when you can't travel as much and do as much. Typically it's between age 71 and 73. So that's why I put this at 72. I've said, look, let's run that go-go period till age 72. From 73 to 82, we're going to go slow go. And then from 83 to life expectancy 87, we're going to do the no-go phase. So again, if we look at this, you'll see it runs at $33,000 in real dollars. This is after tax in your pocket money. Then it drops to $28,000. And if we scroll down it drops down to $27,000. So not a big drop in the no-go phase. I didn't want that income to get too low, but I did want to create a bit of a ladder. Now, the next column, nominal dollars, this is what you'll actually have in your pocket after tax to spend. So it's adjusted for inflation. So the first year, again, $33,000. The next year, at 2.5 inflation, you're going to actually have $33,825 in your pocket to spend after tax. The next year jumps up to $34,671. So we're keeping your buying power up with inflation. Again, there's a taxable income, which I won't get into. Again, CPP, OAS, and tax rate. So again, the effective or your average tax rate, I've leveled her out around that 4 or 5% for most of her life. Now you'll see here in the RRSP column, this is very important. What I've done is I've done the ladder strategy and the RRSP meltdown. So I've pulled out about $2,000 a month until she starts CPP, at which time I've dropped that to about $1,000 a month. Now you can see here, we've emptied out her RRSP by about age 81, 82. So by 82, the whole account's gone. There's still money in the TFSA, and that's what we're living on going forward. Now, there's a few reasons for this. A, it's very tax efficient. It's giving her more money. It's allowing her to pay less tax and leveling out her tax rate. You can see on the right, her effective tax rate does drop off once the RSP is gone. But what's important to note, and I did a video on this not long ago, if you haven't watched it, I'll link it above here. It talks about healthcare. If you have to go to a care home. So if this lady was in need of a care home later in life, a lot of that's based on your taxable income. So you can see on the left, taxable income is about $43,000. By the time she's 83, it's actually dropped by over $10,000, and that's because the RSP is gone. So even though we've kind of kept her income the same, her taxable income has dropped substantially, allowing her, hopefully, if she needs a care facility, to pay a little bit less for that care facility because it's based on taxable income. And hopefully that makes sense. We're trying to melt down that RSP, so by the time she's 82, RSP is gone, she's living on TFSA, so her income's still there, but the taxable income's much lower, which if she needs to go to a care facility, is going to help her pay less, put more money back in her pocket, just be better for her estate overall. Now let's look at a couple. Again, same scenario, $250,000, but for a couple, obviously we're gonna have a bit more CPP and old age security, which will help bump up the total income, but what does that look like? So what we've done is we've given Mrs. YouTube a spouse and Mr. YouTube. Again, same birth date, just to keep them both at age 65 to keep it simple. As far as assets go, we left everything under Mrs. YouTube. So that $200,000 and the $50,000 in the TFSA, no change there. Under government benefits, we've also put Mr. YouTube at that same 56%. So if I go to Mr. YouTube here, you'll see we bumped it to 70 and kept him at the national average. So we've tried to keep this as conservative and realistic as possible. I think that's very important to do here. So looking at this couple combined view, if we leveled out the income all the way till Mrs. YouTube's age 87, you'll see it'll run at $46,135. Now, again, I wanted to create that go-go, slow-go, no-go phase of retirement, so I've bumped it up. So from age 65 to age 72, I've put it at $50,000. Again, this is after tax in their pocket money in today's dollars. It then drops down to $45,000 from 73 to 82. And then from 83 all the way to age 87 for Mrs. YouTube, it'll run at just shy of $40,000. Now again, we've put life expectancy for Mr. YouTube at age 84. You'll see there, he's passed away at age 84. Mrs. YouTube continues to age 87. Again, this is life expectancy based on Ontario. A 65-year-old female male in Ontario from Stats Canada. The process is the same. If I jump into Mrs. YouTube here, you'll see there's a RRSP drawdown. Now, because their income's a little bit higher and they're delaying that CPP, we need to take a little bit more earlier. So instead of $24,000, we're gonna actually take $30,000 from her RRSP and then keep it at 12. What happens is the RRSP is emptied out by age 77 versus age 82. So emptied out a little bit earlier, a bit more TFSA, and of course there's money coming in from CPP and old age security. So it looks a little bit different, but the reality is, if you're a couple and you're getting your retirement and you have $250,000, here's your numbers. If you have national average for CPP, if you take your old age security, again, this is bumping your CPP. There's a benefit to that based on life expectancy. So if you bump that national average CPP, you take your old age security, you have $250,000, in this case, 200,000 RSP, 50,000 TFSA, is going to give you $50,000 after tax income, you know, in your go-go phase, which is until 72 in this scenario, but 50,000, 45, then 40. Could you live off that? That now comes down to your budget. And that's the biggest thing, right? If I say, Can you retire on 250,000, 300, 350, whatever the number is? It really comes down to your lifestyle, your expenditures, what your budget is. That's really the answer at the end of the day. I mean, we could all retire on $10,000 if we're not spending money. In fact, I know someone that literally retired on nothing but a small government benefit, but they live out in the boonies in their truck. So if that's the lifestyle you want, you can do that, right? So it really does come down to that budget, how much you want to spend, travel, all that kind of stuff. But I think a $50,000 after-tax income for that go-go phase of retirement is a really nice income. And I would say that's enough for the majority of Canadians to retire on. So is $250,000 enough to retire in Canada? I would say it is. Now, it's that $1 million number that people always talk about. But if you have a reasonable retirement, a reasonable spend, not huge expectations or big travel plans, I think this is more than realistic to retire on that $250,000. So hopefully this helped out. Hopefully it kind of showed how we use the program and whatnot. Hopefully it gives you the numbers. Again, I'm a numbers person. Don't tell me I'm going to be okay. Show me I'm going to be okay. Show me the numbers. I want to see data. And so hopefully this helped you out. So if you're like me, you're an analytical person, you need to see the numbers. Hopefully this breaks it down a bit further for you. Again, thank you so much for joining us in this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you in the next video.